About Today we're going to talk about self-deception and what that's all about, why we do it, and how to stop it because there are consequences to it. So let's go right into it. So what is self-deception? Very simple question. We've all heard of it. We think we know what it is, right? But deception is an act of deceiving ourselves. Well, what does that mean? It means that we lie to ourselves about thoughts, feelings, and actions. Not only do we lie about other people's thoughts, feelings, and actions, we lie to ourselves about our own thoughts, our feelings, and actions. And it becomes problematic. It's very common. It's not like, nobody does it because we all do it. And um, it's very helpful in some ways and it's very harmful in some ways. So we're going to look at that. We also, when we think about self deception, sometimes that we're aware of it and we do it anyway. And sometimes we are unaware of it and we don't even know that we're doing it. So it's really important to understand the difference. The problem is that when we're aware of it and we do it anyway, and I'm going to give you some examples here in just a few minutes. So, why do we self deceive in the first place? To protect ourselves from pain and discomfort. Believe it or not, it's what we do to protect ourselves. We're afraid at some level that we're not okay. We do it also to maintain a positive image of ourselves. We don't want other people to think badly of us. We have these thoughts that if people had bad thoughts about us, that we would not measure up, we wouldn't be okay. We do it to avoid responsibility, which is a really interesting word, responsibility, because what does it really mean? It means the ability to respond. And we all have the ability to respond, okay? However, do we always use that ability? And the problem with that is that if we don't use that ability, then it's like we give our power away, right? So our power is really about who's in charge. So the question that I pose to everybody that I meet in my training is that, who's in charge of you? And people always say, "Oh yeah, I'm in charge of me." Well, when we dig deeper and deeper and really look at it, we realize that people realize that they're not really in charge because they're doing this thing called self-deception. So are you in charge of your mind or is your mind in charge of you? Really good question. So if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that I get into this in much more depth, and I'm going to be doing more videos in the future to talk about this more and more and more. So let's talk about the consequences. There are payoffs and there are ripoffs to self-deception. So first of all, let's talk about the payoffs. What do we get out of it? How do you personally benefit from it? So, like I said before, it gives us the ability to cope with difficult situations. So when we get in a tight spot, we end we deceive ourselves in ways like we say, okay, well, I committed to an exercise program and four people heard me say it, and now I'm tight on time and I can't actually do it. So what do I do now? Well, I'm going to come up with a reason why I can't do it because I ran out of time, or I need to get something else done, or I said to somebody else that I was going to call them. Okay. There's a million and one different um, examples and a million and one different reasons. So the idea here is that, it gives us the ability to cope with difficult situations and also gives us the ability to maintain a positive image, because if people don't, when they look at us, the perception that they have is that we are people that are dishonest, that we don't keep our word, that we don't do the things that we say that we're going to do, and on and on and on. Then that's our self-image, and we are wanting to protect that as much as we possibly can. So there's also ripoffs to self-deception, and they're much bigger than the payoffs. The payoffs are more from an insecure perspective, whereas the ripoffs are more from a practical perspective. So when we self-deceive, right, it prevents us from changing. So we all want to change. We all need to change. Without change, things in life becomes very difficult. So the idea is that we want to change as much as we possibly can. And when we are lying to ourselves about, like, for example, you want to change your health. Well, if you're deceiving yourself about your exercise program, then your health is not going to change, and then your health suffers. You would could create problems in your relationship. You say, "Well, I'm going to buy my partner some flowers, or I'm going to a gift, or I'm going to do something for my partner. I'm going to make them dinner," and then you don't for some reason, right? So maybe it's about money, and you tell them a little white lie, and then it creates these problems, right? So relationships, it affects health, like I just talked about, business failures, and that's huge because in business, and what we attempt to do is to create an honorable business, a reputable business, something that has merit, something that gives back to the planet, something that gives us a purpose. And when we're deceiving ourselves about our time schedule, about the money that we're going to spend or not spend, how we're going to manage our people, and on and on and on, then our business, goes down. So there's all kinds of problems that happen with that. Money, again, I talked about that. When we're deceiving ourselves, well, I'm not going to buy this, or I'm not going to spend this, and then we do anyway. So there's all kinds of things that can happen with that. We have self-concept issues. We begin to feel bad about who we are. We would feel less than who we could potentially be, and then that messes with our mind, and then things go down, and it's a big ripoff. So we create family problems, and on and on and on. So how do we stop self-deception? This is not an easy thing. And so, for many, many years, I attempted to stop the self deception about everything: my health, smoking, drinking, lying to people, um, you know, lying to friends, you name it. And I could not do it. I continued to do it for many, many years. And it wasn't until I found someone that could help me, I continued to do it. So, the thing is that you have to understand is that we have biases about ourselves, about other people. This is what I recommend: challenge your biases and think about, who am I really keeping grudges with, or holding grudges with? Do I treat this person, or this type of a person, better than I treat that type of person? So that's one way. Being open to feedback is a huge one, because when you're open to feedback, you can hear where you're making mistakes, or you can hear where you can make an improvement, and put it into action. Find a close friend that can help you. Uh, a sane parent. I mean, I say that in a joking way, but there's a lot of times we don't have sane parents, and a sane parent that's willing, and they have your utmost, best interest in mind, and also to find a guide. Very difficult to do. I was lucky to find one, and change your habits. How do you change your habits? Well, you're going to have to watch some of my other videos, because changing habits is easy once you know how, and in the beginning, it's can be very difficult. Changing your mind. Who's in charge of your mind? Is your mind in charge of you, or are you in charge of your mind? And it's really about having the control and practicing being in control of the thoughts that we have, and those thoughts that turn into action, so that we can create and generate different actions. Very, very challenging thing. And um, being honest with ourselves is one of those things that we choose. And when we choose to be honest, we can be more honest with ourselves. Tell the truth. Clean up lies. This is a big one. I recommend this in my book called The Ultimate Game. If you don't have a copy of it, go to my marketplace. I'll leave a link below, and you can see, and you can get it from my marketplace. Admit that it's complex to change, to stop self-deception. Just admit it. This is difficult. This is hard. And instead of saying, "Yeah, I can do it," and then never doing anything about it. Know that there's no easy answer. Um, Nothing is good or bad. If you decide to take this challenge on to stop the self deception and then you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Don't consider yourself good or bad. Just know that you're on the path and that you're willing to do something about it and keep going. Continuous education is very important. Read, 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 read. Watch YouTube videos. Watch them, watch them, watch them. Keep yourself going. Seek out new information. Be an information junkie, right? Make better choices in your life by getting better information. The better information that you have, the better, the higher quality people that you hang out with or that you listen to, the better choices that you're going to make. When? Every day, every moment, everywhere you are, in all the situations that you're in, and whomever that you're with, right? Get in a track, stay on track. And if you can't stay on track or you find that difficult, find someone that can help you. That's really important. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Remember to subscribe if you liked this video, if it was helpful. Hit the like button, share it with your friends, and always leave a comment. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.